Hello my dear student, welcome to Nagesh Karasge Orchid School channel. Myself Hina Patel, going to teach you mathematics of a 7th grade. Already we had started with a chapter data handling. What we had learned in the previous class, just we will recall. We had learned how to find out the mean, mode and median. Now we will do in this session some how to plot the graph when the data is given. Already the data is given in organized form. We will learn today about how to draw a double bar graph. So one by one we will try to solve examples related to graph. Just we have some questions related here. First we will try to solve out this one by one, step by step. Use the bar graph. Already bar graph is given to us. See the graph which is given to us to answer the following questions. So now it will be more easy. When you will see the graph, you can answer the questions which are given to you. Which is the most popular pet? Here we are having some pets. Yes, some dog, cat, rabbit, then hamsters and others, and the number of students which is given on the y axis. Number of students, that is 2, 4, 6, 8 and 10 and 12. So thus we have find out the survey of these pets with a number of student. Now we can see which is the most popular pet. Means you have to see the length of a bar, which is the highest, that you can see from here from the graph that it is cats. So most popular pet animal is cat. How many children have dog as a pet? You can see here where the bar of a dog. Yes, we can see here it is a first bar, it is given as a dog. We have to compare with and y axis. We can find out where this bar ends, that is it ends on 8. So we can say the number of students who like the dogs were 8 students. Now we will see another one more questions related that we had already explained in the detail. By seeing the graph you can find out. Now here we are having some other graph with a different scale. Just I will explain you. Read the bar graph. See the graph is given to us which shows the number of books sold by a bookstore during the 5 consecutive years, and answer the questions that is follow. Means what? Here the bar graph is given 5 consecutive years, means one after the other, that is 5 years. That is here it is given as 1989, 1990, 1991, 1992 and 1993. Here it is given to us the scale 1 centimeter is equal to 100 books, because if it is in the more quantity we have to arrange, we have to think what would be the scale on the y axis. So here we are having a 0. This you know already in the previous class we had learned. This is your x axis, this is y axis. Here we are having a 0 where they intersect. Now already it is given scale to us, that is 1 centimeter. This is the 1 centimeter. When you open the graph paper you will find out there will be 1 square centimeter box will be there. So it is 1 centimeter is given 100. So we have to consider the scale as 100, 200, 300, 400, 500 and 600. Why I had read? Because there should be difference of only 100. You can't go there 150, because 0 to the first centimeter, 1 centimeter is an 100. So what it is? Number of books. Now we are having some questions related that about how many books were sold in 1989. 1989. You can see this bar. You can compare with where it ends. That is near the 200, but it not exactly 200. Yes. It's somewhat less than 200. We can say that how many books were sold in that 1989. It may be 195 books. Then 1990, that is 1990 we are having, that is 500 books were sold in that particular year. And 1992, where is 1992? So we have to see the bar, the length of a bar, and we have to compare with and y-axis. So you can find out here where you will draw a line with the help of a scale. So or otherwise you can keep your scale here and you can find out that where is 1992 is, how many books are sold in that particular year. That may be in between 200 and 300, means it will be approximately, it not accurately I am saying, it may be approximately 250. So in next question is, in which year were about 475 books sold? About 225 books sold, means we have to see first y-axis, where is 475, this is 400 and this is 500. In between this 400 and 500 we are having 475. I told that time it's not exactly 500, it is less than that, so you can say it is an 475. So in which year it is? You can write the answer as it's an 1990, that 475 books were sold in year 1990, and about 225 books. So we have to see in between the 200 and 300 where is 225 books. You can see here this will be 1992. You can find out it's a 225 with the help of a ruler, or you can see the graph paper, so you can find out that answer. In which year were the fewer than the 250 books were sold? So more than 250 books, so you have to write the number of years where we got 250 books sold, means more than that of a books were sold. So we can say it is a 1990, 1991 and 1993. So one by one already I had explained you answers. So we will see in that detail. In 1989, 175 books were sold. In 1990, 475 books were sold. In 1992, 225, because this was already I had orally explained to you. From the graph, it can be concluded that, I told not exactly, we can say it's approximately that 475 books were sold in year 1990 and 225 books were sold in the year 1992. From the graph, it can be concluded that the year 1989 and 1992, the number of books sold were less than that of an 250. So which year the books were sold less? That is 250 books were sold less than that. So that is the year 1989 and 1992. So from the graph, it can be concluded that the number of books sold in the year 1989 is about 1 and the part of a 1 centimeter. So we know that the scale is taken as a 1 centimeter is equal to 100 books. Already it is given in the graph to the right side of a corner. So you know very well that is 1 centimeter is equal to 100 books. So we can find out that 100 plus 3 upon 4 into 100 is equal to, now you know very well how to do this. This is an addition and this is multiplication. So we will write addition as it is and then we will multiply by reducing, because in the previous lesson we had already learned about the fractions. If it is possible, we have to reduce the fraction to its lowest form. So we are having here fraction with a whole number. So after reduction we are getting as a 75. So you know very well 100 plus 75 is 175, or you can say 175. Therefore, about 175 books were sold in the year 1989. So that is what we had seen already in the graph. It was given to us just to there were some questions related to it. So we have to answer the given question. Now we will see one more graph, one more data is given to us. We will see one by one. We have to plot a bar graph. So number of children in the 6 different classes are given below. So here we are having the classes as a 5th standard, 6th standard, 7th standard, 8th standard, 9th and 10th standard. Represent the given data on a bar graph. So first we have to bar graph means we have to plot the graphs. We have to carry the first graph paper and we have to find out the first both the scales on the x-axis and y-axis, and then you have to see the tabular form what the given is. The classes are given which will be written on a x-axis, and the number of children which is given here we have to write on a y-axis. How to write the scale then? So in the previous class we had learned that we have to see the minimum number and the maximum number. So by seeing that minimum and maximum number we can find out the scale. What will be the difference? Difference between the one scale that all or 1 centimeter that we will see one by one. How would you choose a scale? Answer the following question. Already I had told we have to choose the scale by seeing the difference, or we have to see the first lowest term and the highest term in between the scale should be arranged. So we will see one by one questions related to this. This is a graph which should be drawn on a graph paper. Already I had used the graph paper but it was not visible clearly, so I had used the colored bar graph, so it will be more easy to understand. So here we are having on the x-axis, I already told we have to write the standards, that is a class as a 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th and 10th. We have to see the scale, that is the lowest scale. We were having something 80, so we can write here by 1 centimeter is equal to 10 children, 10, 20, 30, 40, I told it should be the difference should be the equal between the two numbers. Or you can go for, it's not that I had told you to write as a 10, so you will write 10. No, you can think that if you want to write a 20, but there should be 1 centimeter, the 0 to 1 centimeter should be a 20, the next scale will be a 40, it should be multiple of that. So the difference between these two scales should be 20. If you are writing as here after the 0, if you are writing 20, then 1 centimeter is equal to 20 children. It's not that whatever the teacher says that only you can prepare your own scale, that should be fit in your graph paper. There should be the 1 centimeter, you have to not go for the 2 centimeter directly, so you have to find out the such a scale that 1 centimeter may be a 10 children, or you can write as taking the square scale as a 1 centimeter as an 20 children. So I had taken here as a 10, 20, 30, 40, that is nothing but on a y-axis that is number of students, on the x-axis is a classes which is given to us in the data. We will choose a scale as a 1 unit is equal to 10 children because we can represent a more clear difference between the number of students of a class 7 and that of the class 9th by this scale. So there will be some very small difference, so we are writing the scale of a 10, so it will be more easy to differentiate between the strength of a classes between the 8, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10. Since the bar represents the number of children for the class 5th is the tallest, there are a minimum number of children in the class 5th. Similarly, since the bar represents the number of children for the class 10th is the smallest, there are a minimum number of children in the class 10th. What I had read out, you can see here the bar which is a smallest, means that bar is having a minimum children, and which is a tallest bar which is having a maximum student in the class. The number of student in the class 6th is 120 and the number of students in the class 8 is 100. So here we are having the difference between 20, so it will be more clear by seeing the graph. We can find out how many students are in the class 6th and how many students are in the class 8. without seeing the data. Therefore, the ratio between the number of students to the class 6 and the number of students to the class 8 will be 8. We have to find out the ratio. Already in a 5th standard we had learned what is a ratio, how to represent the ratio in the form of fractions, and we have to reduce it, and we will find out one more fraction which is represented in the form of a ratio. So we are going to find out the ratio of class 8 and 6th. So we are having 120 students, and in the class 8th we are having 100 students. What I had reduced here, 0 0 get cancelled. Here I can go 2 5s are 10 and 2 6 are 12. So what we get here is 6 upon 5, so which is written in the form of a ratio is 6:5. So how we can say the students of a 6th and 8th standard we can say in the ratio as of 6:5. So we had attempt the questions which is given by seeing, we had plot the graph by seeing the data, by given data. What we had done, we had first plot the graph on a graph paper, then by seeing this graph bar of this graph, and we can find out the answers to the given questions. Now one more example we will see. Here you might be thinking why here we are having a 2 data related. Here already I told when we started our class that we are going to learn a bar graph and double bar graph. So here we were learned in the previous example we had learned only the single bar graph. Here we are going to learn a double bar graph. The performance of students in a first term and the second term is given. Your class teacher also compare the performance of a student here in the term, first term and the second term. How is your progress in the first term and the second term? Draw a bar graph choosing an appropriate scale and answer the following questions. Here data is given to us. Here subjects are there: English, Hindi, Maths, Science and Social Science. First term, that is term 1, and term 2, which is out of maximum marks. Is nothing but maximum marks is 100 out of 100. Here one of the child got a 67, and in the second term he got 70 marks. This is the what it is given the first term. These are the marks of a student of a different subjects. In the second column we are having second terms, which are the marks of a student of a second term. Now we have to, because we are having a 2 data of a subject English, we are having 67 marks and 70 marks scored in second term is 70 and first term is 67. We have to plot the graph, that is nothing but we are having 2 data, so it will be double bar graph, and number of subjects whatever is given should be on a x-axis, and the marks which are secured by a student that should be on a y-axis. We are going to choose the scale, appropriate scale. Here you are having the very similar or nearby the marks. So you should find the difference very clearly. So how to draw a double bar graph? So we will see one by one. Questions are given to us. In which subject has a children improved this performance the most? By comparing these subjects, in which subjects here improve means in the comparing to the first term, highest marks got in a second term. We have to see which subject, 88 out of 95, 81 out of 85 means 73 and 75. In which subject is highest? We have to see is 88 was in a math subject and 95 he had secured in the second term. So we will see how to draw an first bar graph double bar graph, which again we have to go for an graph paper. Listen to each and every trick what I am giving, how to draw an bar graph, double bar graph. That is, first we have to plot a x-axis, that is a horizontal, y-axis which is an vertical. Already subjects are given to us, that is English, Hindi, Math, Science and Social Science, and number of marks of a student is given. So we will go for a minimum marks, because we will start with a 1 centimeter as a 10, because we can find out the difference very easily, because the difference between the marks of a first term and second term was very less. So what we will do here, we are having a two readings of English subject. So first we will see in the first term how much he got the marks. In the first term is a 67 and the second term is a 70. So we have to go here is a 67, means it is less than 70. This is 67 and this is 70. Here what are the subject was English. So we have to draw two bars for only one subject. Why it is given here different color, I will explain. When you are drawing on a graph paper, one should be kept blank without drawing anything, like you have to just draw a bar, and another bar of the same subject should be given across lines. So you can identify very easily by seeing that what was the maximum marks got in the second term in the English subject. So it was 70 marks was the in the second term, and then in the first term was an 67 marks. In Hindi also what we have to see, first we will see the data whatever given, then we have to prepare a bar by seeing the marks which is secured by the student in a particular subject. So please see the data and just plot a graph which is given, that should be a double bar graph. So you can, I told again I will revise, first you can have to draw a x-axis, y-axis, write the subjects, choose your own scale, that is here we had taken, because the difference is very less, so we are going for the very less difference of a scale, that is 0 to 10. So we can say as a scale 1 centimeter is equal to 10 marks. What is this? You can also draw here, but I don't want on a graph paper, there should be a color. I told just you have to draw the two small square. One square which is empty should represent the first term marks, and the one square very small scale which is drawn on the right corner of your graph paper. Another small square which should be lined, cross lined with a pencil, that will represent an second term. So in this way we can draw a graph by seeing that in which subject the maximum marks was acquired in the second term. Means you have to see the second term is yellow color. So we will see only the yellow color bar in which subject was the maximum marks. So we can say here in the mathematics the subject the maximum marks are in between 90 to 100. By seeing the bar we can give the answer to the given question. We will see one of the questions were given to us. We had already drawn the graph. We will find out what are the questions given. There was a maximum increase in the marks obtained in a math subject. Therefore, the children have improved his performance the most in math subject. Because by comparing to the first term, the second term in the mathematics subject, he got more marks. From the graph, it can be concluded that the improvement was the least in the social studies subject. Means he had not improved well if he is having a 67 marks in the first term. In the second term there was only 670 or 69 marks. Means there was no difference of more marks. So we can say the least in social study. From the graph it can be obtained that the performance in the Hindi has gone down. Means here we can see in the Hindi the performance of a child, which is in the Hindi here, in the first term is high and in the second term the performance went down, means the child has secured less marks in the second term as compared to that of a first term. This happens with you also. So we had plot a double bar graph, we had given the answers to the given questions, and first I told how to draw a double bar graph with your choice scale, because we were having a less difference, so we had taken the difference here from 0 to, for 1 centimeter we had started with a 10. One more example. Here again you will be now familiar, because already in the previous questions we had seen that there was 2 data given. Here also we are having 2 data are given of considering this data collected from the survey of an colony. Now you can prepare your data. You can take a survey of your members of your family by watching the TV and participant, means you can have a different types of examples related. You can perform the survey, you can collect the data. Here is your favorite question. Here cricket, there is a favorite sports are given: cricket, basketball, swimming pool, hockey, and that one is athletes. Watching the number of people watching and number of people participant. Now this I had already explained in the previous example how to draw this. So double bar graph. My dear student, please try to solve on a graph paper the question number 5th. Already I had explained in short. In the previous question we had learned how to draw a double bar graph. Here we are very similar, data is given to us, only that is difference is where we were having marks, here we are having the number of participant and the number of people who are watching the sports. It is very similar. You find your scale, see the highest scale and the lowest scale, and try to find out the scales on a y-axis and write the sports on a x-axis. Please try to draw the double bar graph. I hope so you have understood and you will do it. Thank you very much.